Hello guys and girls, what is going on? It's GhostRobo and today we're talking about Destiny. Yes, the big old game from Bungie releasing this September, probably my most anticipated next-gen game. I cannot wait for this one. I think it looks stunning. Well, today they opened up their website in a whole bunch of new ways, revealing new information, new gameplay, and new worlds. Straight off the bat, I think it looks so freaking sweet. I am so excited for this. I think they're going in such a cool direction, at least that appeals to me in just about every way. From the gun look, from the powers that these characters use, the worlds, the artistic style. I'm probably setting the bar too high, but I'm so excited for Destiny, and let me show you why. The coolest thing is that it shows info on the characters. First of all, this website is really just, it's awesome. Like, it's a very dynamic website. They've done a lot of cool things, so many moving parts. It feels like you're part of the machine. So we've got 3 character classes that they have talked in more detail about here. Well, shown in more detail. I'll show you in a second. Titan, Warlock, and Hunter. Let's just start with my favorite guy right off the bat. Warlock is so freaking awesome. So he kind of seems like the more magic-y user. He is a Warlock after all. And what I really feel like this game does, and again, this is just my opinion and my conjecture based on seeing, not playing yet. I hope to do that at E3 in June, but it feels like if Mass Effect met Halo, like that's the sense I'm getting. Maybe not from the make your own choices in the story department, but from the sense of like build this character with these cool futuristic space powers, and then like great gunplay from the Halo universe with sweet like visual world building that Bungie is known for, and cool memorable characters and like dynamic cinematic flair that they've done with the music and with the skyboxes. Like that's the sense I'm getting. I'm gonna freaking faint here. Okay, so let's see the Warlock in action. He is so dang awesome. Let's just watch. Oh, it's magical. It's so freaking magical. And you'll notice that within that little clip of footage there, there is both in-game, like from your perspective, UI, everything on board footage, and then sort of more cinematic, like pulling the camera out, moving it around, making a trailer type footage. But the stuff that we saw where you can see the HUD popping up, like that is true gameplay, and that has me super stoked, because then you know that, hey, that's an actual piece of the game. This isn't just some BS graphical hoo-ha that they have, brought up for us to be wowed by. Like, this is actually real stuff. And I love the flair that they're giving everything. It has that real good Halo look. Everything seems to just be glistening in such a futuristic and colorful way. I love the fact that it isn't just a derelict, desolate brown environment. Everything's shiny and cool, but not so futuristic that it just looks sterile. You know, some futuristic stuff can really look sterile. I don't know. I think they've done just wonders here. And it almost reminds me of Killzone, like look, like graphically a little bit, but done with more oomph, more like vision. I don't know. I really like that. Now, the Hunter is a character that's very different from the Warlock. The Warlock you saw using like these psi blasts and different stuff. Remember, you are able to level up your character quite a bit in this game, as well as level up weaponry. So it's bringing in a lot of things. Mass Effect, Halo, Borderlands, there's loot. Then you have the massively multiplayer part of things. I'm, for once in my life, really excited about having a massive, or maybe not massive, but a multiplayer shooter that has an expansive world. I guess it's massive in the sense of a massive game, if it's not massive in the sense of like, oh, World of Warcraft, tons of players playing. But it reminds me of Defiance, that game that was based on the TV show. Is that what it was called? Defiance, I believe so. And that game was pretty crappy, but what I liked about that game, just from a pure like thought process, was that you were able to jump in with your friends, go around, kill a bunch of cool enemies, basically complete a dungeon per se with your friends, gather the loot, level up, and move on. And I thought like thematically and just mechanically that was like a great idea. Execution wise, it was pretty poor, but I really liked what they were going for there. And I think if you can bring together a AAA level of control, of visual style, of a shooter, and merge that with like this multiplayer sentiment that seems to be one of the directions we're going with next gen, I think you could have something really special. Now, the Hunter takes things in much more of a melee direction, so let's see what she has to offer. Now, what I love about that little bit is, one, we see a diverse number of locations. We see a very overgrown grassy planet. We see indoor structures. The only gameplay that we've really seen prior to this, at least in a substantial chunk, was the section from E3 of last year when they're going through these tunnels. They fight like a guardian boss. No, these are the guardians. I guess the hero is the guardian, so not a guardian, but like a boss creature. And then they go out and face off with their friends against some giant robot bug. But here we're getting more of a sense of like this is a very varied game. And in a minute we'll go to the planets and you'll get to see how really diverse and expansive they're making this. But I also love the fact that we saw level 8 Hive Thrall above one of the enemies there. It gives me that Borderlands vibe when you're like, oh, the enemies are scaling, I'm leveling up, I gotta take them down, and sort of that back and forth exchange of like, sometimes you have to just bullet sponge an enemy, sometimes you're taking them out real fast. That ebb and flow of leveling up, the enemies being, I'm assuming they're scaling with you, at least to an extent here. I have to imagine that if it hasn't been said already, that's got to be where they're going. And then the loot gain at the end, but merging that with like a much better storytelling world, much more immersive gameplay. I mean, I'm kind of like over the whole aliens and this like the whole world is depending on you, Master Chief type thing, but I also, at the same time, am a sucker for like those real, when it gets all like, this is it, and this is so, it makes you feel like you are at the climax of a great action space movie, and I like that feeling so much. Like the world depends on this. You're facing off against these legendary foes from a time long forgotten, uncovering this deep evil. I get chills just thinking about it. It reminds me of Mass Effect and Dead Space and these games where it's got this sometimes totally absurd, overarching plot that's really crazy and involves like otherworldly beings or whatever, but at the same time, like being in the throne room of these long forgotten slumbering giants, that's pretty sexy and definitely has its appeal. Let's see if the Titan is as sexy. I think he is more of kind of, they don't really give you a sense of what these characters are. You hail from a line of legendary heroes and your strength and skill will be needed. I'm assuming this guy's more of an assault type class. If we've got like a mage, thief, assault, that's kind of the guess I'm getting, but let's look and see what you guys think. Destiny. So we got a sense again of another character, and I like that there's skills here. So it's not just one skill, like, oh, you don't have like your skill, like he fires an energy blast or he goes invisible. There are many skills, and again, that's calling back to the beginning of the video where I feel like it's a merging of Mass Effect and Halo. That's like, really, I'm seriously having like sweating issues here. It's so exciting for reals. I'm not even just like BSing you at all. Like I very much am so hopeful that this ends up being my game of the year. It brings together a lot of concepts that I really like. And as long as there is a linear flow to the game, I don't want it to be like, you can go anywhere and do these random missions that are timed and then you get a score at the end. Give me an overarching storyline. Give me a flow to it. Give me a sense of place. So like, I'm not just like jumping around like a madman playing with my friends, but hey, we've got to do this mission. And that's going to be the trickiest part, is how they integrate a storyline, a linear type of progress with multiplayer. If they can do that well, this truly could be something special. Now, another thing that we get here is these destinations, and they promise many moons and planets with lots of big stuff going on. No videos here, but we do have beautiful scenes here that are very, very pretty. I mean, this is straight out of Star Wars. Some of this stuff looks so good. And take note that Earth has gotten very futuristic, it looks like. Very, very pretty here. Very, very beautiful in many ways. I just get such like a, what is that planet called, Coruscant or whatever? Like the vibe here is pretty cool. Now, old Russia is over here on Earth. This is where that gameplay demo from E3 of last year took place. Giant wall, desert land. I don't know what's going on, if there was some nuclear explosion or if it's just a little bit dusty. The next planet is the moon. Okay. The city has since been classified the moon as a forbidden zone, only for brave and experienced guardians. So this looks the most Mass Effect-y to me. It reminds me so much of Mass Effect 1, and frankly, I think it's the most boring of the environments. Perhaps there's more to the interiors and stuff, but to me, it's the most dull. Now, Venus, on the other hand, I don't know how they're inhabiting Venus, but that's pretty cool. And you can see this planet seems to be much more of an overgrown, almost Last of Us style. It reminds me of Enslaved, something along those lines, like this long forgotten city, or maybe not even forgotten, but maybe something happened here. There was an explosion or a chemical attack. Storylines are already beginning to form themselves, and we know practically nothing about the plot of this game. Mars, because everyone wants to go to Mars. No one knows what remains of our lost age, now buried beneath the dunes. So apparently we were here, and now not so much. They've got this exclusion zone. Skyboxes, my God. Skyboxes. What I really love about this website, and I think is pretty darn spectacular, is that it takes up the entire real estate of your screen. It doesn't just limit the video or the image to a box in the middle like most sites. Like, nah, we're going to use the entire background of the screen. So that is really cool. And the destinations, I don't know what's better, having like 4 or 5 big planets that have a lot to do, or 30 little planets. I kind of like variety, but at the same time, if you want to nail down a sense of place, a sense of immersion, you need to really have your locations be sort of few but meaty, and I think that seems to be the direction they're going here. Now, we can also go to the story tab. Our golden age. Everything changed with the arrival of the traveler. Long ago, it breathed new life into our system. Rain washed over Mars. Fresh air cleansed the skies over Venus. Soon after, humanity raced into the black and colonized these newly remade worlds. It was a time of miracles, a golden age, and of course, everything then goes to the toilet. I don't know what the traveler is, but it sounds interesting. Again, they're establishing this very epic scope for their game, and they've talked about Destiny being a 10-year franchise, so you know that they're going to start things off with a bang. Traveler has an ancient enemy, blah, 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 it saved us all, and then people rise again in these beautiful landscapes, and then they explore new frontiers, and these guardians defend the last safe city on Earth, defeat our enemies, explore the solar system, become a legend, and make Activision a bunch of money. Now let's look at the enemies and see what they've got going on. Okay, we've got hive-type enemies who look like robotic zombies. Very, very cool. Okay, they've got a kingdom deep in the moon. The fallen, like energy swords. Come on. Spider-Man. This is definitely a freaking General Grievous fused with Spider-Man, and also like an elite from Halo or something. Dang sexy. I love it. We've got the Vex, who look like Mass Effect / Cylon / I don't know, hostile, unrelenting, deadly enemies. And then we've got Cabal, who are chunky monkeys or something. They've turned their eyes towards us. All these factions look really cool, and I look forward to really exciting boss battles. I mean, I don't know everything about this game. It's hard for me to say it's going to be amazing because I'm just basing it on what it looks like. Rage is a game that I will never forget because I was so hyped for Rage. The scope seemed awesome. The visual style seemed awesome. The world seemed awesome. The gunplay seemed awesome. Just the interaction with the environment seemed awesome. Leveling up your character seemed awesome. Are you catching the drift here? Because it's a lot of the same things I'm saying about Destiny, and Rage turned out to be an okay game, but not like a great game really in any sense of the word. I don't think. I think it was pretty much regarded as kind of a dud, at least from the standpoint of that they took so much time on it, like that they spent so much time, delays. I don't think this game will get delayed. It's been such a big old deal for not only Activision Bungie, but also for Sony PlayStation 4 and next gen in general. This is kind of one of the pinnacles of next gen, and the first chance we'll have to experience it for ourselves is the beta demo thing. Summer 2014. Limited time only while beta codes last. You get a beta code by pre-ordering the game. I believe that's anywhere. I believe you can pre-order it anywhere, something of that sort. There's some other things on here that we've seen before, media and news, but the beta, that's kind of the big deal next for us. You can pre-order the game, blah, 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 but the beta, I will be playing the beta. I will be recording the beta as soon as I can get my very excited and, like I mentioned, sweaty hands on this game. I personally think it's going to be coming after E3. I think that would be a great way to kind of usher in the next generation for 2014. You're at E3 and Bungie gets on stage and says the beta is available now, or the beta is available 1 week from today, or something of that sort. The game releases early September, so I have to imagine this beta is June, July. August seems pushing it. May seems too early. I'm predicting that they have a big explosion at E3 so people can get excited about it, and then we get our hands on it. It would be sort of silly to get people's hands on a beta and then go into E3 and then try to show it off like it's something new, because I can promise you this will be a big part of Sony's conference and possibly Microsoft's as well. Definitely gonna factor in as one of the premier games of this year's show. So, what do you guys think? Destiny is looking sweet. I've shifted all of my attention now to Destiny. I know some people are very excited for Watch Dogs. I know some people are looking at The Order as like a beautiful game for Sony. I know some people are holding out hopes for a Halo this year, Uncharted, whatever it may be. But right now, Destiny for me is where it's at for next gen. That is where I'm placing my hype marbles all in the basket of Bungie, and I trust them to do great things with this game like they have done with the Halo franchise in the past, and I think it's time for them to really evolve. They seem to really kind of reach the glass of Halo filled up, and I don't know that there was more to do except overflow and make people a little bit disappointed. Now we have this brand new orb called Destiny, and how much goodness is filled into that orb, we will see very soon. The beta, E3, all of it is right around the corner. I will be covering it. I hope you guys are excited. Like I said, let me know what you think in the comments below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Go check out the website for yourself if you want to see it in your own two eyes, even though your two eyes are hopefully watching my screen. Maybe you're watching it with one eye. I don't know how you do things at your house. But anyways, guys, girls, thanks again. Fantastic day. Drink so much out. And until next time, we will see you all later.